was giving your boys a lot of praise.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Just your overall assessment of that, Steve?
I was really uncomfortable before the game. Really uncomfortable. Having to make the decision that we made tonight. Well, I think it was a decision I had to make based on the back of decisions made in terms of fixture planning and number of games. And that's not to bash anyone. I understand why those decisions are made with the World Cup year and everything else. But I think when you see the squad that we put out tonight, you see there's some of the squads on Monday, you see our situation this week, every other club there. It's probably got to a breaking point now where I feel things will change, it'll have to change. Now, we've been talking about it for years and years and years, but I think the culmination, the end of this season, thankfully nothing was riding on tonight in terms of us winning or losing and affecting other teams. And Wigan and Saints sending teams on Monday what got beat. There could have been relegation in play at this stage and fight for the top. So I think it's reached a sort of breaking point in that. So that said, I was really uncomfortable because these players, as great as they've done tonight and as proud as everybody is of them, they simply aren't ready for that standard. And so to produce that performance was incredible. These boys are. French elite competition starts in October. The season starts. So these boys finished in May/June. They've been on holidays. They're back in pre-season. Some of them are just returning from holidays. And we just got together last night and put that together last night and then come across here. So for them to produce that effort tonight and not stop, I thought the scoreline was a little harsh. It was, Harry Smith kept kicking all those goals and it just kept ticking over and ticking over. But there's been that many teams get beat by 60 points in the NRL recently. So for a team like that to come together and play as well as it did for a large majority of that game is super.
It shows just how much the French games come on though, and the domestic game in the French elite as well. If you played that sort of team 15 years ago, it probably would have been a larger scoreline and. Your boys did
but it quite could have been tonight as well. Look, let's be honest. It must have been difficult for Wigan tonight as well. I've been in that situation. You see the opposition team sheet. So Wigan, we've come to Wigan. Wigan are, if not the best, they're right up there at the minute in terms of the competition, and the position shows that, and the performance against St Helens showed that. But that was not quite the same Wigan. Don't get me, what was the week before. I don't want to take anything away from our group. But we've gone there and that's a tough ask for the Wigan club there as well, playing against us. But you're right, it could have been a really big score, and in the past it probably would have been a big score. Those players have got a long way to go if they want to compete at that level consistently. They've had a taste of it now. They've seen it. They like it. They clearly like it. You can see that in the dressing room. But now there's a hell of a lot of work to go into it. But that game being shown here and back in France will inspire, hopefully, plenty more of the younger French players. I think it was 10 players on debut there. Our other, Josh Rinkelwalt was clearly our most experienced player, the one, and then the other experienced players had 6-7 appearances next to the name each. So yeah, it's a big effort.
Yeah, just on the calendar as well, with the double header set to be scrapped from next season onwards, that must be music to your ears.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's there's no point criticising too much. It is what it is, and it has been because of the reasons and what's happened. So it's just the fact is that like I said, it concerned me. I wasn't comfortable doing that tonight. I wasn't comfortable from a welfare position playing a lot of our players again after we'd pushed really hard Thursday and Monday, and then had to come here on the Friday, knowing what we've got coming up next week and hopefully the 2 weeks after if we get next week done. So that was a welfare issue on that, but that was a welfare issue playing some of those players tonight, and I was concerned about that before the game. Thankfully they've all come through it pretty well, and as you said there, I think there's been decisions that look like they've been made to enable it to be a little bit more less chaotic, should I say, next season.
Steve, how would you, given France have had some good junior international results recently too, how would you sum up the way it's looking for this year and also for 25 with
Yeah.
the kids coming through. How would you sum up the sort of state of the?
Promising. I'd say promising. I think, you know, when the I've said this in the Super League, you know, our best French players, you even if you didn't know they were French, you wouldn't know they were French, English, Australian, New Zealand. They're as good as any of the players in the competition, the best French players. Now there's a few more of those, and then, you know, and then there's a group now what's really very good. We've got some very good professionals now at the Dragons in particular. Some of our younger players, the ones, you know, your Paul Seguiers, your Arturo Romanos, Archie Morgs, these players are outstanding professionals there as well, and it's infectious. It's infectious. So when the younger generations see that, they start to follow that, and then it's a knock-on effect further down. So, sort of pretty excited by what could happen. France is a huge country. It's a huge country, and it's got a history of rugby league which is strong. And we need to harness that and get the bit of momentum and build that into a World Cup. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, but there's some real promising signs there for everybody involved, and hopefully the momentum continues. Even though Toulouse have got relegated, that we can still find a way to keep that momentum going. Okay.
Safe journey.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thanks. Apparently there's a thunderstorm in Perth.